Yeah, I will say this. Ben 10 has a very bizarre family tree. Like, he is part alien, very obviously, mostly human, but, he has a surprisingly big family that some are only brought up once and some are kept around. His grandma is, like, technically he should technically have a bit of alien, but I guess you need a spark or something, or maybe just the human genes take over. But yeah. Overall, it's just, it's strange, I'll say that much, but also interesting that he isn't just human. I mean, apparently his grandpa got around. Like, that isn't even a joke. Like, he's dated several alien ladies. Which, yeah. Which kind of explains how Ben got around. Anyway, we're going to end this and see exactly what he means by it, but I'm pretty sure we already know what it means. Anyway, let's head in.
Prepared for more, Tennyson. You talking to me, ugly?
It may not seem like it, but family is one of the strongest and most consistent.
I can't blame him. I mean, some of the aliens that Max got with were definitely hot, and I don't know what their lifespan is, but goddamn. Though I don't really like Ben's grandma due to the fact that she just kind of left, but,
themes in Ben 10.
Please, I'm not mad at you. We're family.
Familial
They are
bonds
technically
is what
family,
founded
yeah.
Team Tennyson, and expanding the love he has for his family across the whole universe is what makes Ben Prime who he is.
Ben's like a brother to me, even when I don't deserve it.
Today, I'd like to explore the Ben Tennyson family tree and the many different ways the branches twist and turn across different generations, species, and even timelines.
I don't even get how we're related to her.
She's Grandpa Max's brother's son's wife's mother's sister's daughter.
This video will cover—
oh yeah, because of the, I forget what their species is called, but they're mud alien people.
for all the canon information, along with fun facts about the production and execution of these characters, to explore just how strangely this information unfolds.
Could stay here with us. Be part of our family.
If you've been watching this channel for a while,
He's got
you'll
a
know
big
that I always
family.
try to make a strong effort to include the reboot when I can. But this time, I'll be focusing just on the first 4 iterations, as there's plenty to discuss here already. Longtime viewers will also know that we're currently on an upload hiatus so that I can continue to work on the final 3 episodes of 5YL and the conclusion to the Scare arc and beyond. So if we're still on an upload hiatus, why am I making this video? Well, it's a funny story. So there I was, practically falling asleep on my desk,
a mustache.
and staying up late trying to learn all these new editing techniques through Google and YouTube, but it's been such a hassle trying to find the right tutorial. Suddenly, Yvonne bursts through the door and says, "Oi! You ever heard of Skillshare?"
Oh no.
I don't sound like that.
Just go with it, just go with it. So I'm like,
oh my God.
wait, Skillshare? What's that? But then she's all like, well, you see, with Skillshare, you can learn all the things you—
well, thank you for the follow, but yeah. Leopons are the... Okay, that's the sludge aliens. Okay, good to know. There is a Ben 10 TTRPG apparently in the works, and I'm curious how that exactly is gonna work. But we'll see.
Seriously, if we're gonna be doing this, I'm not doing these voices.
I like that he made her sound like Goofy. That is kind of funny. Yeah, that's great.
So she tells me that Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives. There's thousands
well,
of
that's
classes
just my
led by
voice in
industry
general.
experts across film, illustration, design, freelance, productivity, and more.
I know how intimidating it
I
can be
know
to
how it
tackle a
goes.
new software, but there's a class on Skillshare that
I'm
can
not
help.
understanding what you're saying. I mean, I don't know. I just kind of speak in a certain way. Okay.
You learn After Effects through your favorite movie, which we all know is Back to the Future. On Skillshare,
Back to the
Ron
Future's
walks you through
okay.
creating a DeLorean time-traveling driving loop.
And so I said, okay,
cool.
that is pretty cool, but I'm pretty set in how I edit my videos. I'd rather learn how to do something fun in my downtime.
Skillshare isn't
I
just
wonder if he has a video or news about the Ben 10 TTRPG. If there's one dude who should have news on, it's definitely him. At least I think so.
businesses, I use it to scratch my own creative muscles with physical projects like origami. Also, Skillshare keeps it fresh and fizzy by adding seasonal content too. I'm still new to crocheting, but I learned how to make these Valentine's Day hearts.
And I was all like, but if I was really gonna tell my audience about this, is there any way to make it even more special? And then she was all like, Skillshare.
Bob!
Sorry.
The first 500 people to use the link in the description will receive 1 month free trial of Skillshare.
Can you put your volume up? I mean, can everyone else hear me just fine? I mean, that might be due to your being on phone. If you're on phone, that happens actually a lot. I don't know why, but phone is just quieter with my voice, but Skillshare looks fine.
Get started today.
Let's start all the way at the top of the tree with Ben himself.
Oh,
well, not that one. In the Omniverse episode Rook Tales, Max reveals that Ben, and now Rook's little brother, all share the same name.
You know, my grandpa was named Ben. He'd be tickled to know that there's a kid on another world named after him.
Making the trunk of our tree a man named Ben, though he's never shown on screen. Aside from him, the only other family member we know that predates Max is mentioned in the classic episode Under Wraps.
When I was a kid, I spent every summer on my Uncle Jedediah's farm.
Uncle Jedediah.
I hated working on Uncle Jedediah's farm when I was a kid.
Adding Jedediah Tennyson to the tree. It's unconfirmed whether or not Jedediah is Grandpa Ben's son, so I'm gonna leave those branches unlinked. As we continue with Max, arguably the true trunk of the tree, Max finds love in an extraterrestrial energy being named Verdona around the 1960s. Originally meant to be deceased in the main timeline.
Grandma and Grandpa met in St. Louis. Being here reminds him of Grandma. I think he's feeling lonely.
I didn't want this life for you. I shielded your father from it and your grandma before she passed.
Then at one point, a fellow plumber alongside Max, Verdona was officially introduced in Alien
Force. She was a fellow plumber. I guess that was a thing add later, because I don't remember that ever being a topic brought up at all. Huh. But yeah, she did eventually come back. Maybe she just pretended to die. That's possible, or maybe Max lied about it. I don't remember along with this, but then again, that would mean me going back through this all. Weird. Mixing seems fine on the phone. Okay.
And spends most of her time on her home planet, Anodyne. She also had a character design completed if she ever did appear in Omniverse, though it went unused. On Earth, she transformed her body to be procreatively compatible with Max. Is it an anime story or what?
This is Ben 10. It's an old show that went on for very long, but yeah.
Gave birth to 2 sons, Carl Tennyson and Frank Tennyson. Carl was first introduced in the live-action film Race Against Time, alongside his wife, Sandra.
Okay, we're all equals in this house.
Despite Race Against Time taking place in an alternative universe, Sandra and Carl have persisted as Ben's parents across multiple art styles and iterations of the show, solidifying them definitively as Ben's parents. And finishing off this branch, we have the main hero himself, Ben Tennyson, who is an only child. Backing up a bit, we return to Frank Tennyson, who, unlike Carl, only had one appearance across the franchise, but is later confirmed to be a lawyer.
My dad's a lawyer. Let him handle it.
Okay. I think I'm gonna need a lawyer.
And judging by the size of his house, a successful one at that. His wife, Natalie Tennyson, made a handful of appearances across Alien Force and Ultimate Alien. At one point in production, her name was gonna be Lily, but given her disdain for all the magic and aliens that plague her family, perhaps a name as bright and positive as Lily wouldn't fit her much anyway.
I mean, I can understand not liking that stuff around due to the amount of chaos that it can cause and trouble it can just bring, which given what her daughter gets into, kind of makes sense. I mean, I'm surprised she even let Uncle Max, or let, I guess, Grandpa Max take her on that little trip. Oh, that's no problem if you follow me on Twitter.
I told you about doing that in the house.
Sorry, Aunt Natalie.
The two gave birth to their own children, most notably Gwen Tennyson, who's our final piece of the classic series trio.
How'd you learn how to do that?
I read the instructions.
She's the only one who was born with what Verdona dubs as the Spark, allowing her to access her Anodite abilities that give her the power to manipulate mana. No other Tennyson has been shown to have the Spark, including her older brother, Ken Tennyson. Like his father, Ken is only present for a single episode. Ken was rescued by the Alien Force trio when he was captured by D and aliens, and compared to Gwen, lives an incredibly average life, and is not one to engage in plumber conflict. He's mentioned a few times after his debut episode.
I even came back when
the grandkids were born, just in case your baby had the spark.
We lost our grandpa Max, and nearly lost my brother.
But his one appearance remains his sole appearance. The phasing out of Ken as a character has become a popular topic of discussion in the community and is practically a meme at this point. But to be fair, this is the case with most of their family. Also, while we're here, Natalie does mention her Aunt Joyce.
Don't you ever complain about my Aunt Joyce again.
Being the only member on her side of the family to have any mention, which is more than we can say for Sandra. Let's climb back up the tree to Grandpa Max, whose unidentified parents also gave birth to his sister Vera Tennyson, whose first appearance dates all the way back to the 4th episode of the show.
It's been years since I've seen Max and the kids. I'm not sure I'll even recognize them.
Vera shares a lot of similarities with Max, such as her strange appetite, knowledge of aliens, and by Omniverse, a floral patterned shirt.
I didn't know that she joined in Omniverse. Okay. It's actually kind of interesting, but yeah, given what Max deals with, her sister knowing about isn't too far of a stretch. But yeah, it seems like Max is the main one who got involved in, well, alien business.
Is an unseen woman named Mrs. Fife, yet remains unknown whether or not she is directly Vera's daughter, though she is mentioned multiple times by her son, Clyde Fife.
Oh, Clyde.
Says, it never hurts to help. Like Mama always says, clothes make the man.
What the hell is that outfit?
You don't need superpowers to take care of chicken.
Clyde, aside from arming himself with the Mark V nanoshift-enabled exo armor, is inspired by the titular 2004 character Napoleon Dynamite, and is even voiced by the same actor, John Heder. But Vera and Max both share another...
But yeah, I don't really have a superhero in Ben 10. I don't know what you mean by that, but yeah, we're just watching a little bit.
Sibling who we meet in the classic series, Gordon Tennyson.
Gordon.
He and his wife, Betty Jean Tennyson, are plumbers as well. Betty Jean is named after her voice actress, B.J. Ward, with Gordon's name coming from her late second husband, Gordon Hunt. Together, they fought in the war against the Lenopans with their son, Joel Tennyson, who fell in love and soon married his former enemy, Camille Mann. Their wedding was a big step in ending the war between humans and Lenopans.
I forgot that was
her
the
parents, name. Mr. and Mrs. Mann, strongly disapprove of this
Mr. and
marriage.
Mrs. Mann, I forgot that was their names. Well, that might not actually be their names. That might be the names that they chose as humans. Not sure if we know much about their society or if they even have last names. So, yeah.
A failed attempt to prevent the ceremony from happening. It is unknown if Mann is their real surname or a pseudonym while used on Earth. Mrs. Mann has an unknown sister, who is the mother of Lucy Mann. Lucy is the only extended family member to appear in multiple series aside from Vera, and also joins the Plumbers with exceptional scores and performance. Gwen had a one-sided rivalry with her growing up, but this gets resolved in their teens. Though unfortunately, she also never appears again after this in the present day. And to cap off our list of extended family members, we have Sunny, who seems to have the least connections to the Tennysons, but is still tied to the family tree through Verdona. Sunny is known to be Verdona's granddaughter, but there's no evidence to prove that she is the child of Max as well, as she could have been conceived with another mate, or simply...
I will say, taking off the skin thing is still kind of horrifying, but Sunny does not seem like a very nice person to have around. Dog, what are you doing? I'm sorry, my dog just decided to go underneath my desk. She's a sweet puppy, don't get me wrong, but she's... There you go. I know, puppy. Yeah, it's alright. Sorry, she's silly.
Simply just Verdona through Anodite antics. Strangely, her human disguise resembles Gwen in Ultimate Alien, with small but notable differences, before becoming a complete color swap of Gwen by Omniverse. Their similarities were done in reference to Serena from Bewitched, where her and the lead character Samantha were played by the same actress. But the in-universe reason for their similarities remains to be known. But of course, we're watching Ben 10, so things can never be simple. There's a lot of additional family members to the Tennyson family that may or may not count, but in some capacity, I feel they deserve to be mentioned. Let's begin with the most obvious and accepted technicality, the 14 Necrophagian offspring from the Alien Force episode
quite literally,
Save the Last Dance.
They are his kids.
Those are your kids.
To compensate for their reproductive cycle, the Omnitrix forcibly transformed Ben into Big Chill multiple times to lay eggs, spawning children from that transformation. By all accounts, these children should be classified as Ben's own offspring, but due to the Necrophagians' independent nature, Ben did not have a chance to form a relationship with them. In a similar vein, 6 evolved transformations from Ben's Ultimatrix
do they
were brought to
count?
life using Ben's genetic code. These forms now exist independently and are no longer trapped within the Watch. But based on all known information regarding how the Omnitrix transforms Ben into his aliens, they have to exist on some level, specifically due to Ben's own DNA, and could not have existed without him, creating a possible case for these living ultimate aliens having a spot on Ben's family tree, be it as clones of Ben or offspring as well. And speaking of clones, Albedo's human form was also created with Ben's DNA, though unlike the big children and sentient ultimates, Albedo existed independently of Ben and is theoretically hundreds of years older than him. Currently, his default form is so identical to Ben that the Plumber's galactic scanners couldn't tell the difference. This may not exactly earn a spot on the Tennyson family tree, but it's still a topic relevant to this discussion. Another one worth mentioning would be Eunice, who was created by
Eunice is a strange thing. She's technically part of the Omnitrix, and technically, is that her newer design? She's a bit strange and just all around family members here.
A sample of Gwen's DNA through the Unitrix, a prototype version of the Omnitrix. Her relation to the Tennysons is also highly debated, even by those who have worked on the show. Regardless, she fits the bill enough to be mentioned. And if you want to get really, really obnoxiously technical, then you may be able to consider Zascare as a candidate too. As we've seen with literally every time Ben scans an alien, the original host still remains. Obviously, right? And with Ghost Freak, Zascare explains,
when the sample was taken for the Omnitrix, I was trapped inside. Ecto-Neurite's consciousness exists even in a few strands of DNA.
So if his consciousness can exist within the DNA, and the Omnitrix only scans, not absorbs creatures, perhaps there's an original Zascare donor out there, separate from the Zascare we follow in the series.
Or it could be that the original Zascare was killed, and this version is what's left of him, so he used that to basically form his consciousness. Just a thought, at least for me.
Who, after spawning from the Omnitrix, would have a fraction of Ben's DNA embedded into him, and thus adding him to the tree. Though to reiterate, this is all just speculation. Alright, it's time to cover all the different ways this tree can look through the different...
Okay, so let's see what we have. Technically, we got a few just from Ben, which is a bit weird in its own right.
Timelines. Let's start with an easy one. Ben's dog, whose sole appearance is in the classic episode Goodbye and Good Riddance. This episode takes place within an alternative timeline, and while Matt Wayne believes he may exist in the Prime continuity, he's never shown on screen, so it's safe to assume it could go either way. The saddest fact about this dog is that it doesn't even have a name. Comment down below what you would have named Ben's dog in this episode if you had the chance. The other classic series alternative universe episode, Gwen 10, has a passing mention of an Uncle Manny.
Like when we had to believe you when you saw Bigfoot at our family picnic?
Uncle Manny needs to shave his back here.
Without any additional information, we can't say for sure where an Uncle Manny would line up on the family tree, and given the nature of this episode, Manny may not even exist in the Prime timeline either. Let's jump forward in time to the first alternative
Ben
future, the classic series Ben 10,000. This future was technically never meant to be Ben's true future from the start, yet we still had a lot of information revealed about this timeline, such as Max still being alive, the development of Omnitrix City, and most importantly, the fact that he marries Kai Bree, his childhood crush. Though we never see her on screen, she was confirmed to be his spouse through pop-up trivia, and the fact that their son, Ken Tennyson, strongly resembles both of them. The pop-up trivia also revealed the existence of a daughter, Gwendolyn Tennyson, who, like her mother, was never shown on screen.
Oh, so he also had a daughter. Huh.
Many fans for a time believed this character, shown at Ken's birthday party, was potentially that sister, given she's the only human girl present, and it would be quite strange for his sister not to be at Ken's birthday party. This can be debated as the same character was shown years earlier in a completely irrelevant situation, establishing she was created just to be a background character. But to humor this idea further, this still wouldn't explain why she's the same age 10 years apart inside of the canon, and it's a well-regarded rule in animation that background characters shouldn't be bound to consistency or relevance. For example, the same batch of aliens used in the classic film Secret of the Omnitrix make numerous appearances in various places across the galaxy, as do the human background characters as well. And in one episode, Ben Tennyson himself appears as a background character 5 times in one shot. So the fact that this girl was designed to be a background character doesn't exactly negate the possibility that she could be Gwendolyn Tennyson. Now, does this prove that this character is Ken's sister after all? No. I wouldn't say that, but I do
Yeah,
think it's
it
harmless
doesn't.
if you want to believe it anyways, but
Yeah.
perhaps she takes after her Uncle Ken and likes to avoid being home at all costs.
I mean, yeah, that's understandable given the amount of craziness going on there.
Also, Ken is given a rock monster by his
Oh,
Aunt Gwendolyn,
yeah.
and in typical Tennyson fashion, this dog has no name either. Would love to hear your
Oh, we can
suggestions for this
recongeal, though.
creature's name down below in the comments too. By the end of the episode Ken 10, Ben 10,000 makes an offer to adopt Kevin 11,000's abandoned son, Devlin Levin, becoming a part of the
Devlin
Tennyson
Levin.
tree. Moving on,
True.
it feels necessary to bring up the second alternative future shown in the Ultimate Alien episode, Ben 10,000 Returns. He's the only character shown from that future. He does briefly mention Gwen's current presidential status.
When I was
Which is a
president
bit
of
weird.
Earth, it turned out that Gwen was better at the day-to-day stuff. You're a shoo-in for a second term, Red.
But aside from
Shoo
that,
in for a second term. That's just a strange thing to say to someone, huh? But
the future is left a mystery. A Ben 10 Ultimate Alien DVD extra does mention Kai, Ken, and Gwen also existing in this timeline, though this information appears to be inaccurate. This timeline does reveal Eon to be another alternate version of Ben Tennyson, along with countless versions of himself, all under his command, which would make them all viable for their own family trees as well. These additions are exclusive to Ultimate Alien's future, as Eon's servants in Race Against Time and Omniverse are not alternative Ben Tennysons. But before we get too lost in the concept of alternate universes, let's finish up the alternate timelines with Ben's third future, introduced in Omniverse. He was conceptualized to be the same character as the original Ben 10,000, but due to the multiple differences between the two, it's safe to treat him as a separate future entirely. But unlike the classic series, we do get an on-screen appearance of Kai Tennyson, who wields the legendary sword.
I still don't like Kai as being his wife and being the sort of thing there, but yeah.
Excalibur. While the concept of Ben ending up with Kai is controversial to say the least,
to say the least, they don't even seem to like each other. That's the biggest problem. They don't seem to get along and only ever fight, which at some level for certain relationships can kind of work, but it doesn't feel right here. It just feels kind of weird.
I have to give them credit for attempting to lead up to that future, such as teasing the idea of Kai being worthy of the sword in the past, and featuring both her and her future self as a supporting character towards the end of the series. Omniverse also did a ton of development for their version of Ken Tennyson, who frequently traveled into the past to help present-day Ben under the guise of Spanner, a mysterious hero whose identity remained a secret until Ben 10,000 found out himself in the penultimate finale, while present-day Ben never finds out Spanner's true identity.
I mean, he doesn't want to... Well, actually, yeah, it's obviously supposed to be like either a Kamen Rider or Power Rangers or Super Sentai reference in here with Ultra Ben there. Still having a rather cool design. And, yeah, he very clearly keeps the mask just so he doesn't, like, reveal that sort of thing.
Spanner's design was modeled after Ultra Ben in the Power Rangers, which is every 12-year-old's dream. As for Ken's sister, Gwendolyn, she once again is mysteriously absent, though in this timeline, she may not exist at all. But
single.
hey,
I mean, maybe if he's like his grandpa, who knows? Yeah, I don't... Honestly, I've never really cared for his getting a relationship, but his relationship with Kai just feels wrong out of all things.
Max is safe, so that's all that matters. Though another grand change comes from the alleged existence of Devlin Levin in this timeline. In an effort to tie this future closer to the classic one, character designer Derek J. Wyatt mentioned that Devlin still exists, but was grounded, explaining his absence from the episodes. Though even if this was true, it's unclear who his mother would be. In the classic series, Pop-Up Trivia explained Devlin was born to a mate that Kevin 11,000 found on Saturn during one of his escapes. Yet in this timeline, it's reasonable to believe that he's been with Gwendolyn ever since their teenage years, leading to three possible solutions. 1. For a time, Kevin really did go to Saturn and started a family with someone else. 2. Gwendolyn is retconned into being Devlin's mother. Or 3. Devlin simply does not exist in the Omniverse future. Whichever path you believe, Devlin still never appears in Omniverse, so it doesn't really matter.
It is nice to see them, what their designs look like in Omniverse as adults, though. But, yeah. So it could just be that this version of Devlin does have Gwen as his mother. But you never really know with this sort of thing.
But since we've been mentioning pets as part of the family, as they rightfully should be, Zed allegedly also exists in this future too. Now, since I opened up the rabbit hole of covering alternative timelines, it would only make sense to reach every corner and create separate trees for the race against time and all of the alternative Bens too, right? Well, I don't feel like it, so who cares? Nah, but seriously, most of these would be pretty identical to the ones we made in this video. Sans for the small changes, like in Ben 23's universe, Grandpa Max is dead.
I don't have a grandpa.
There's no grandpa here?
I haven't thought about him in years. I miss Grandpa Max.
And in Benzaro's universe, Gwen's supposed to be working with Dr. Animo to develop a cure for the zombie virus or something. But to be frank, almost everything known about these alternative timelines is just additional information from outside the show. And
it would be interesting to see comic books based off these alternative timelines, but that's its own thing, I feel. It's its own idea.
That nature, it's arguably not even true. Just for the hell of it, I'll cover the information anyways, but let's be clear, most of this is not 100% canon or mentioned in the show at all. So like I said, we have Ben 23, right? Grandpa Max is unfortunately deceased, and Gwen is still around, but is shy and lacks her Anodite abilities. The classic Gwen 10 timeline is supposedly identical to the Prime timeline, as is the Gweniverse, the Omniverse version of Gwen 10. And while Gwen has the Omnitrix in this world, the Ben of this universe does not have any powers to make up for it. The race
that kind of stinks. I wonder if he has any sort of tech or something.
Time timeline also appears to be identical too, from what we can see of Ben, Gwen, Max, Sandra, and Carl. And I'm still in strong faith that Race Against Time and Alien Swarm are the same universe.
Yeah, I would
were
believe
both
it.
under the reigns of Alex Winter, and Lee Majors almost reprised his role from the first film, tying them together directly. But if you're under the belief that both of these films are from separate universes, I can respect and understand that perspective too. But I am treating them as one and the same. Circling back to Benzaro's timeline, your standard zombie-infested world, I've already mentioned that this Gwen is a scientist trying to fight against the outbreak, and Max may be deceased in this timeline too. Guy can't catch a break. Luckily, in No Watch Ben's timeline, Max is still around, and is also an active plumber with a mechanical arm.
I wanted to tell you, believe me, but there are protocols.
Sandra and Natalie are confirmed to still exist here too, thanks to a passing mention by Gwen.
My mom wanted to talk to your mom and grandpa about the family reunion.
And speaking of Gwen, you've guessed it, she's allegedly not an Anodite and has no powers here either. If you think you're starting to see a pattern, you're not the only one. Personally, I don't think it would make sense for Ben to suddenly gain Anodite abilities just because Gwen got the watch, as whoever wears the Omnitrix has nothing to do with the spark. But on the flip side, in Gwen's case, I feel like it's unfair to keep taking away her Anodite heritage completely, rather than just saying she doesn't practice magic. Heading down under, we visit Mad Ben's dimension, where, big surprise, Max is no longer around. Gwen's whereabouts are also unknown. Nega Ben, also known as the Hot Topic Prophet who pops and locks it for profit, still
I wasn't expecting that, but okay. Yeah.
Has his Gwen and is stated to be a strawberry blonde cheerleader who hides her intelligence. It's not known if she still retains her powers or not, but I'm pretty sure you can guess what the answer would be. Capping things off with Bad Ben, we have zero information on him or any of the other Tennysons in this timeline, making him a true solo act in this multiversal adventure.
Okay, really, huh? No confirmation.
Then again, you are Ben Tennyson.
And that pretty much makes up the entire Ben Tennyson familial continuum. We'll be putting this multiversal family tree up in our shop for a limited time, so grab one while you can, as by the end of March 2025, it'll be gone forever. Though if...
Well then I guess it's gone forever, because I'm a year late. Goddamn. Yeah, well, it happens.
If you want to win a chance to win a free poster, signed by yours truly, go give us a follow on Instagram. At the end of March, I'll DM a random follower and send you one, no purchase necessary. And if you're hungry for more Ink Tank content while we continue our upload hiatus, now is the best time to become a YouTube member or join our Patreon. We post weekly updates, host exclusive streams, and over in my video diary series, you can see tons of real-time progress on the development of 5WL and beyond, and all of our other content, including this very video. I can't stress enough how much it helps us fund these projects. So if you really want to know what we're up to this year, come join the fun. But until next time, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. And as always, keep it fizzy.
Still, he's got a hell of a family, and he's dated a lot of different people. There's also that weird time that strange girl that could control cats was able to control, well, Rad, which, leads to some very uncomfortable thoughts that I don't want to raise up here, but, yeah. Anyway, so, what do you guys think of that Ben 10 family tree? I think it's quite interesting that he's technically had family aliens in his family before even he realized, and they've technically always been around his family. They just, well, they never brought it up, and his parents and Gwen's parents try to keep them away from that stuff. But still interesting nonetheless. So, I want to know your thoughts. Tell me down below, and I'll see you guys later. Take care of yourselves and make good to yourselves. As always, later, guys.